Okay, hello again everybody. Tonight we're going to talk about how to divide with decimals. Similar to adding, subtracting, and multiplying, division with decimals is very similar to regular division. So if we look at this problem, it says how many times can 0.4 or 4/10 fit into 68 and 32 hundredths? Well, I know that that's a division problem because I'm trying to figure out how many of these fits into this. So if I go and set up my division problem, I know that 68.32 is my dividend and 0.4 is my divisor. Now, with decimal division, all I need to do is simply move my decimal point over in order to turn my divisor into a whole number. So if I move my decimal point one spot to the right for each of these, then I'll have changed this number into a 4, and this becomes 683.2. Now, if we think about why that's okay, why that doesn't change anything, well, notice that when you move a decimal place one spot to the right, you have essentially just multiplied by 10. Now, if we're doing that to both of our dividend and our divisor, then we're going to end up getting the same answer at the end because we've essentially multiplied by 10, but then we're dividing it out back with our divisor. So, before I forget, let's go ahead and put our decimal point up top as well. Now, 4 goes into 6 one time. 1 times 4 is 4. That's going to give me 2 left over. I'm going to bring down my 8. 4 goes into 28 7 times. 7 times 4 is 28 exactly, so that gives me 0. If I bring down 3, well, 4 doesn't go into 3 at all, so that's a 0. 0 times 4 is 0. With 3 left over, I bring down the 2. 4 goes into 32 8 times. I've got 8 times 4 is 32, and that's it. So my answer then becomes 170 and 8/10. Alright, so now let's try a word problem. The Henry family drove 276 and 5/10 miles on the family vacation. They used 7 and 9/10 gallons of gas. How many miles per gallon of gas did they get on the trip? So really what I'm trying to figure out here is how fuel efficient this car is. I want to know how many miles we can get, how far can we get on a single gallon of gas. So 276.5 is my dividend. 7 and 9/10 is my divisor. And I'm going to start by moving my decimal point over one spot to the right. Put it up above the bracket where it belongs. And now I've got 79 as my divisor instead of 7.9. So 79 goes into 276 3 times, and I can check that work if I do the multiplication over here on the side. 79 times 3, well, 9 times 3 is 27. 3 times 7 is 21, plus 2 is 23, so that's 237. And I know that that's the best I can do because if I were to add in another 79, I would get a number that's higher than 276. So I can do my subtraction now. 16 minus 7 is going to be 9. This is going to change to a 6. 6 minus 3 is 3, and my 2's cancel out. So I've got 39, and I need to bring down my 5. Well, that's 395. Now let's see, how many times does 79 go into 395? Well, I'm going to think about this as an approximation. I know that 395 is pretty darn close to 400. And 79 is pretty close to 80. Well, I know that 80 fits into 400 5 times, so let's say if we did 395, oh, my bad, if we did 79 times 5, 9 times 5 is 45, 5 times 7 is 35, plus 4 is 39, and I got exactly 395. So 79 goes into 395 5 times. 5 times 79 we said was 395, and that gives me nothing left over, which means that after my decimal point is simply a 0. In other words, the family is going to get 35 miles per gallon. Alright, and just like last time, I would like you guys now to turn your notes over to the back side and see if you can try those 2 problems on the back on your own. Remember to write down any questions that you have so that we can go over it in class on Friday.